Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another edition of the Opposition Preview. First things first, make sure you smash the likes, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Monday night, Chelsea are back in action, Everton heading to Stamford Bridge, and I've been saying it a lot this season, this is a must-win game, but so far we've not really been able to put a run together. We win, then we drop points, win, drop points. Only won back-to-back games in the league twice this season. We lost a reverse fixture 2-0 up at Goodison just around Christmas time. And yeah, Everton obviously fighting for their lives down the bottom, haven't been helped by points deductions, would be a lot safer without those. It's going to be a tricky game. There's no easy game for Chelsea. Everton have been struggling since that win against us back in December. Only registered a couple of wins in the league. And yeah, they're going to be scrapping for every point. And to discuss the game, I'd like to be joined by Stephen from the Toffee Blues Everton fan. Mate, thanks for coming. Everton, I mean, it's been a bit of a mad season, really. Perhaps more off the pitch than on the pitch, although maybe in equal measure. Let's start with on the pitch. You started the season pretty well. The 10-point deduction hit, and then sort of from around December time onwards, things sort of took a little bit of a dip. What do you think changed between that period when you beat ourselves, you beat Newcastle, I think you beat Burnley away as well, you put a run of a few good results together. What do you think changed like in the new year, because it definitely hasn't been the same?
Yeah, thanks, Charlie. It definitely has been a whirlwind of a season. I think the season review DVD for this season will definitely be Oscar worthy, but I think we went on that amazing run right after the 12-point deduction. We got all 12 points back, from the wins that we got. We beat Forest, Burnley, yourselves, and Newcastle. And I think after that, I'm not sure how the mentality of the team changed in terms of making those points back from the deduction in case we weren't going to get them back. Being able to take what we had done and keep that run going, because I think tiredness maybe played into it a little bit. It was right around Christmas time when there was a lot of games. And I think, we lost a couple, and maybe that had a bit of an effect on the team's confidence. But I think it's a case of maybe just the fitness of the team around then, which led to the confidence issue because of the results. Also, maybe just teams figuring us out a little bit, watching our games and going, okay, Everton just put crosses in the box and head the ball into the net. So just don't let them get down the wings. And I think it's definitely been a frustrating time since then. The last game that we won was Burnley away, right after yourselves. And then obviously we didn't win again until Burnley came to Goodison last weekend. So yeah, it's been a weird season as an Evertonian, but I'm hoping that win last season maybe we can go pick up a couple more points. But we were definitely lucky last weekend, I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Sean Dyche himself, also he took over from Frank Lampard. I think it's fair that he's done a decent job given the circumstances. But I've sort of seen online a little bit that some Everton fans, or certainly sections of the fan base, are thinking maybe it could be time to move on and Dyche maybe isn't the right man anymore. I mean, where do Everton fans stand with Sean Dyche, and what do they think of the job that he's done?
I mean, I think you'd have to ask every Everton fan. I think everyone has a different opinion on him, to be honest. Some Everton fans are very keen on him. Some Everton fans are very not keen on him, because there's one thing I will say about him is he's quite a stubborn manager. I don't think he changes the way he plays whatsoever, depending on the opposition, which I think can work. But it did work earlier on in the season, but you've got to be able to change it. When you play in the top teams, or when a team's coming at you in a different phase of the game, you have to be able to adapt to the way that they play. And I think that's where his strength ends, if I'm being honest. I think as far as he goes and keeping hold of him, I think, and I mentioned it in the video we did for our channel, that new stadium that we're building, that's the real point that we have to get to before we can start thinking about rebranding the club. The rest of this season and next season, which is the final season of Goodison Park, will be definitely safe ones. I think just completely safe. Don't do anything stupid. Don't try and don't get rid of the manager. Don't try and let any big players go. Just get to that new stadium and then start thinking about bringing in someone a bit more progressive and who's going to move the club on, because also we're in a tough situation in terms of the boardroom and everything, and it has to all that has to be resolved is when you're thinking about who's going to be at the helm and who's going to be in the director of football position and all that. I think it goes a lot deeper than just Sean Dyche. So it's a really tough question to answer, to be honest.
I mean, I think the most important thing from an Everton perspective is you absolutely have to be in the Premier League when you move into that new stadium. You can't be moving into that new stadium in the Championship. So as you say, like, yes, you want to progress and move on, but you just want to make sure that you stay up this season, you stay up next season, and then in that new stadium, as you said, you can maybe look at progressing and pushing on and getting back to where Everton should be. Because as I was saying on your channel, like, Everton for me should be a team that are, doing something similar to what West Ham are doing. You've spent a lot of money, but it's been spent really, really badly. So yeah, I mean, look, Everton, I think Everton can get back there. How long it's going to take, I don't know. But they're a massive football club and they should be competing for the European places. There's no doubt in my mind about it. But yeah, I just think a lot needs to change, like above the footballing level. And you probably need a lot more quality. But I don't know how attractive a proposition going to Everton is right now for prospective players and players of the quality that you need to then elevate the team. That's going to be the difficult thing. But in terms of personnel, I mean, who stood out this season? I mean, I can't exactly remember who you signed in the summer. I know Betto, the centre forward, joined. I think you got Dan Juma back on loan again, or signed him on loan. I mean, who stood out as top performers for Everton this season?
Jared Brandtwaite's been the best player by a million miles this season. He's just come into that team and he's far too good to play for us. I don't think anyone will.
Do you think he's gone at the end of the season?
I don't think he'll go at the end of the season. I think we'll probably get another year out of him. I think the club will try very hard to keep hold of him for this summer. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. But you know what, you say that, Charlie, but so many players have left Everton and not quite followed on from where they've been before. Players like Lukaku, and you'll know him very well. There's also players like if you're going back years, there's players like Jack Rodwell and Francis Jeffers who've left Everton and just they struggle. Richarlison as well, only really this season has come into his own at Tottenham. I think players do struggle to move on from Everton because we have a very specific relationship between the fan base and the players. At the clubs higher up in the league, where maybe that's not the case, I think a lot of players can struggle. But I think he's one of them that has really impressed me this season. He did get a goal at Stamford Bridge a couple of years as well before he got his move to PSV on loan. Apart from that, really, I think everyone's blown a little bit hot and cold. Mikalenko at left back's been okay. The right back position we've really struggled with. That's been a tough position again this season. I was very envious of you when you were talking about Malo Gusto in our video and how you've managed to lose Reece James through injury, but not really, miss it too much.
Who's still Ashley Young playing there?
He plays there every now and then. I think sometimes he comes on the wing. Most of the time it's Coleman or him or Ben Godfrey's played there a little bit as well.
Aging, aren't they? Him and Coleman are getting on a bit. They must be mid to late 30s.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nathan Patterson has fell out of favour a little bit. The lad we signed from Rangers, he's fell out of favour with Dyche a little bit. There was a bit of promise in him before this season, but that seems to have gone away, cooled off a bit. Ben Godfrey's played there at times and done okay, but to be honest, it's just great, to be honest, Charlie.
I'll tell you who I do like, mate, and I think you are going to struggle to keep hold of him. I think Evertonians definitely know that. Amadou Onana in midfield looks an exceptional footballer. I just like everything about him: pace, power, good on the ball, physical presence. It looks like he's got it all for a midfield player. Still pretty young. I think he paid quite a lot of money from him from France maybe a year or so ago. Everton fans must love him. I think the midfield of him, Doucouré, and whether it's Joel Garner or whoever else is in there, that's the basis of a decent midfield. I mean, Everton fans obviously must love Onana, but you're aware that maybe this summer you think he's going, or do you think, like with Brandtwaite, you might be able to push one more season out of him?
Well, as you said there, that is the bedrock of quite a good midfield, I think, and we've thought that all season. It's just a case of the mentality in the team. And I think Onana is a perfect example of the mentality in Everton this season. I think as good as a player as he is, and he can be a good player, I think he believes his own hype way too much, and that's been his downfall, and that's why he's playing for the team in 16th, so and not for a team in the top four. He's been good for us at times this season. He has been definitely a standout. I think Everton are better with him than without him, and he does. There's times when you watch him and you think, "Wow, I didn't know he could do that." When he play a good pass or he'll make a good run. But I think he's one of them where he needs to get his head screwed on if he wants to play at the top level. Because I think if he does end up at an Arsenal or someone like that, they won't have it. I think he's not disciplined enough at this age to be really playing at the top level, and I think that's why I think we might manage to keep hold of him for a bit longer. I hope we do keep hold of him because I think he's a good player. And obviously, we're not going to turn our nose up at any player who's sort of doing pretty well at this point. There's obviously no one better than him that we can get. But I think keep hold of him. I think we may be able to keep hold of him for another season. But if he does go this summer, if we get good money for him, I wouldn't be too upset.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, just lastly on personnel, I mean, you spent big money on Betto, the centre forward from Udinese. Him and Calvert-Lewin have kind of been the centre forward options. What have you made of Betto? I mean, he's not. I mean, from the limited stuff I've seen of Everton, he doesn't seem to start that often, or he certainly seems to be more of a rotation option. There's a lot of money spent on him, 30 odd million quid. What have you made of his first season at Goodison?
When he comes on, he looks a little bit out of place. The fans really like him. He's scored a couple of goals when he has played, but he looked better early on in the season. Like he needs a run of games in the team, and he needs the confidence. We've been saying all season to just play him and Calvert-Lewin together. I think he's done it once, and it didn't work. He played it for like the last half an hour of a home game, we lost. And ever since then, he hasn't done it. And it really winds me up. And this is what I was saying to you about Dyche earlier in the video, Charlie. If he thinks something is right and we say, no, this is right, and he does it, he'll give it a small go and then he'll say, no, I told you it wasn't right. It's far too safe. And I think Betto could be a fantastic player, but he's playing in the complete wrong team for it. I think he needs that. This is look. Any striker who comes and plays for Everton, you're not going to have a great day because you're going to be isolated up there. We need to get back to that way of playing that we were in December when we were playing up the wings, we were moving the ball quickly, we were getting it into the box because he could score more. And I think he is a good player. I do like him. I think it was a lot of money to spend on him, but I think keeping hold of him for the next couple of years, he's a really good option to have there. And I think at times he's come on being a bit better than Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin's obviously gone on that really bad scoring drought that he's recently ended. I'd be keeping hold of him, and I'd be giving him those chances to play more regularly in the team and get his confidence up, because I think that's where he sort of fell short. But listen, the fans are behind him 100%. He comes off the bench and people are singing his song before he even steps foot up on the pitch. So for me, that's enough. Like I was saying as well, the relationship that Evertonians have with the players, he's a perfect example of that.
I mean, and in terms of the game itself, from a Chelsea perspective, how can we expect Everton to come and set up at Stamford Bridge? I know last season, I think you got 2-2 draw. I remember being sat behind the goal and Ellis Sims put in the equaliser towards the end. How are you expecting? How can we expect Sean Dyche to approach this game, and how can we expect Everton to come and play?
I think it'll be a case of us sitting back and just trying to get something, trying to win second balls, trying to keep hold of the ball in the Chelsea half and not get counter-attacked too much. I mentioned in our video as well that our biggest threat is 100% coming from set pieces, which you weren't too happy with. Corners and set pieces is Everton's biggest strength this season. So I think that'll be where the main way that we're going to play is play for those corners and set pieces. Keep the game level for as long as we can. We've been very. I think one thing I'm used to as a younger Everton supporter is watching us go away to these big grounds and concede early and then that's it. The floor
Game
just
plan's out
falls
the
from
window, then, isn't it?
yeah, and I absolutely hate that. So I think that's probably one thing I can say about Sean Dyche that I like about him is we do stay in games a lot longer. So that'll be the game plan. Really stay in the game as long as we can. Also try and make use of those set pieces and corners.
Yeah, I think that's how you're going to frustrate us. Sit deep, keep the score level for as long as possible, and then try and get a goal either on the counter attack from an individual mistake we might make, or certainly from a set piece or a ball into the box. That I think is going to be your best bet. But as you say, if we can somehow break through and get an early goal, that blows that game plan out the window. You have to come out and play a bit more. There's more spaces in behind. I think with the likes of Cole Palmer, etc., we've got players that can exploit and pick off those spaces that would be left by committing more men forward. So I absolutely agree that your best chances from a transition or a set piece or whatever. And yeah, try and just sit deep and frustrate us for as long as possible. I mean, just briefly, mate, from a Chelsea perspective, I guess it's obvious your main concern will be trying to keep Cole Palmer quiet.
Yeah, I would have thought so. I think, and as I mentioned again, it's with Dyche, it's so little about keeping individual players quiet on the other team and looking at how the other team plays and trying to play to that. What I worry about is that we'll go into the game and just play the same way that we always play and not worry about these little holes that might get left in between the lines. That's what I'm worried about. So it's easy to say, yeah, that Cole Palmer is going to be the biggest threat, but whether Sean Dyche knows that, I'm not too sure.
Well, you'd like to think he'd know that. It'd be a problem if he wasn't aware. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
In terms of a score prediction, what are you thinking? Obviously, you need the points. It's probably between you, Forest, and Luton, maybe Crystal Palace for that last relegation spot. Can you see yourselves picking up a point, 3 points possibly in this game? What are you thinking?
I've said all week to anyone who's asked me that we'll either get picked apart from the very beginning and we'll lose 3 or 4-0, or we'll get a hard-fought point out of it. And I'm going to remain positive and give you my positive answer, which is a hard-earned point. Similar to last season, similar to the year before as well. That's been the way it's gone the last couple of years at Stamford Bridge. If we can get that again, I'd bite your hand off at a draw now, Charlie.
To be fair, mate, I can't rule it out. It's very difficult right now, given how inconsistent we are, to head into any game feeling confident that Chelsea are going to win. That just isn't happening right now. We couldn't beat the 2 worst teams in the league. That is definitely concerning. At home, as I said, we've only lost once, since October. The home form is good. This team, despite its deficiencies, doesn't give up, does push to the end. We score a lot of late goals to either get us points or win us games. But yeah, we have to tighten up defensively. If we've got to score another couple of goals again to get a point, then yeah, it could be a difficult day for us. But I think we'll just nick it 2-1. But I think you'll give a good account of yourselves, and it will certainly be a lot closer than people are expecting. These are the sort of games that we have struggled in and seem to not really be that up for, or don't treat it with the respect that it needs to be treated with. There's been a sort of a pattern with these sorts of games this season. So hopefully that changes and we can just about nick a 2-1 win. That's what I'm going to go with. But yeah, mate, thanks so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it. If people want to check out more of what you guys do, where should they go?
Yeah, Toffee Blues on YouTube. We're doing quite well on there at the moment. And at Everton Newsfeed on X as well. We're also on TikTok. So yeah, search us up on there. We've got some really good content going on. Stuff like this. We do a lot of different similar stuff to what you're doing. Doing really well at the moment. So yeah, go and check us out. Obviously, and if you want to go back as well, any Chelsea fans, and look at any previous stuff, we've been going for years. So there's a lot of old videos with Chelsea supporters on there as well.
No, perfect, guys. Make sure you check it out. Go and show the guys some love. We've done a match preview on that channel, so you want to hear my thoughts on the game, then head over, check that video out. All the links will be in the description. Channel will be tagged in the title. Just click on that, subscribe, show the guys some love. People, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, and we'll catch you again in another one.